Hello everybody, I am Brightman19 and welcome to episode 13 of our Confederate States campaign in Empire Total War Brothers versus Brothers. So, we're building up a third army for this area. I've actually already ordered up the troops. As you can see, there's 10 of them right there, and we'll need one more and we'll be just fine. We'll start off and we'll probably have another army. I might move him right here to stop this army from doing anything. I might have him actually attack this army, which will be a great use for him. And then we will take these guys and attack Philadelphia. Then he'll swing across over to Lancaster, Ohio, and take it while this guy gets ready to come out from Chicago when his reinforcements arrive. So I think we're looking good on that end. I don't see a problem out there. I don't see anything that needs to be worked on. I still have plenty of money, which is always weird when you have too much money and you don't know what to do with it. Especially when you're the Confederacy. You would think that you would need lots and lots of money, but really I'm just not seeing it. So I think we're good. So let's end the turn. I don't think the Union really wants to approach Chicago right now. Look at him. Look at that. I think some of my other men. The Lost Order. Confederate General Robert E. Lee issues Special Order 191 specifying that the main body of Confederate troops traveling through Maryland, along with its supplies and artillery, should rendezvous with other forces under the command of General Thomas J. Jackson at Boonesboro in Northern Virginia. The handwritten message is subsequently found by a Union soldier on 13th of September and prompts the pursuing Union forces to avoid Boonesboro and nervously enter Virginia via a different route. In fact, it appears that Lee has lured the Union forces into a carefully prepared trap at a place of his own choosing, at Sharpsburg, where Lee's army has formed up to await the Union Army's arrival. It is now widely suspected that Special Order 199 was a ruse devised by Lee and Jackson to confuse the Union commanders and steer them towards the Confederates by intentional misinformation, although this is rigorously denied. Believe it or not, that Lost Order, Special Order 191, is actually set up for a very, very, very good series of books in alternate history by a, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the guy's name. But anyways, it's it's like American Alternate History by Harry Turtledove. That's who it is. And it's called the Timeline 191. We're basically starting with, finding that one special order is what really caused the Union to win Antietam and then thus, stop the Confederates from marching on Philadelphia, which would have gotten them all kinds of good stuff in the war. So because that didn't happen, we now, they're saying that's one of the biggest, that's what, according to Harry Turtledove, is the reason why we are not, we don't have a Confederacy, or at least didn't have it for much longer. I really do suggest those books. They are wonderful reads. Really do make you think a little bit, about how lucky and fortunate we were in the United States not to grow up under that. So definitely would always suggest that reading to people, especially if you like the Civil War and if you like anything about the Confederacy or the Union for that matter. It really has a nice take on how things could have went. Look at how he's like drawing me away. I could have like continued right at him. He probably would have ran away too. The church school in Lexington, Kentucky. Yep, goes down 5.1%. A new town emerges in Florida, where a church school is made. It will be made. All our boys being recruited there. Next time I'm going right for him. I'm going to go through him, and then I'll beat him, and then we'll come back here and be fighting these guys. Generals, some line infantry. Union, Pennsylvania bucktails. I'm not seeing any artillery. He's got the 32 pounders. That's it. Alright, end the turn. Wasn't anything else to do. Would you like to move forward? Oh no, that's as far as you're going to go. And now, we're going to move closer.
Yes. Man.
I dare you now. Okay, the British get involved. A serious situation develops late in the summer of 1862. At that time, as far as any European could see, the Confederacy is beginning to look very much like a winner. A northern attempt to capture the Confederate capital has failed. Virginia's soil has been cleared of invaders, and in the east and west alike, the Confederates are on the offensive. The British government might very soon offer to mediate the difficulty between North and South, which will be a polite but effective way of intimating that, in the opinion of Great Britain, the quarrel has gone on long enough and ought to be ended by giving the South what it wants, full independence. Lord Palmerston, the Prime Minister, agrees that in late September or thereabouts there should be a cabinet meeting at which the Prime Minister and Foreign Secretary will ask approval of the mediation proposal. Implicit in all of this is the idea that if the Northern government should refuse to accept mediation, Britain will go ahead and recognize the Confederacy, whereby plunging Britain into a war against the United States. Palmerston concludes not to bring the plan before the cabinet until they get further word about Lee's successes. If the Federals are beaten, then the proposal will go through. If Lee fails, then it might be well to wait a little longer before taking any actions. Let's see. State capital here is now done, by the way. Please continue onwards towards finishing. Am I the best buildings I can afford everywhere so far? Okay. I mean, we're obviously like the winner right now. Look at all this territory we own. And if these guys will let me leave, which in 6 turns they'll let me leave. Maybe a little less, actually. Let me pull this guy out. In 4 turns they'll let me leave. And when that occurs, I'll continue on across. This army, yeah, it's at full. Is this army full? Yes. Yep, we're moving these guys closer. Those guys will move into that area. We'll move here to block this, and then we'll fight this group here. 3 Confederate armies on the American East Coast that are full-size armies. We probably have roughly 10,000, 20,000 men by this count, but I mean, it's pretty large. We're probably talking about maybe 150,000 Confederates if this was a normal, if the game counted for that many men in a battle. You got to figure each man on here counts for at least 4 or 5 men. So, to get the actual size of the regiments correct. Come on. Come on. Yeah, there's a lot of movement here. The game's having a hard time keeping up with all of it. Lexington, Kentucky's chapter school's finished. And this is starting to slowly turn in my favor on this side. Taps is composed. Everybody knows that song, I believe. You know, the one when people are, you know, they're like putting soldiers to rest. Omaha has been brought forth. A church school in out here would be helpful. All right, let's we are now within some striking distance of Mexico, about or of Mexico City, that is.
Ready for order.
Let's go here. I think after this I'll come on down and take that. How are we looking here? I think we're looking just fine. I don't see anything that needs to be done. Fix that up, I guess. We do have religious unrest in places. That's kind of difficult to deal with. This one right here, 1.05%. With all 10,000 people in the region. Like, that's really that hard to hold down. We have more troops than they have in the entire region, I'm sure. Oh, they're waiting out there in the what is that? Yeah, that's the start of the Shenandoah Valley. That's like Harper's Ferry where he was sitting just now. Telling you folks, get good at your geography. If you live in America, get good at American geography. If you live in Europe, get good at European geography. That's always good to know. That's how I know all this. Just going and doing, just learning and looking at maps. I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. Could we leave Chicago? Be a good question to ask ourselves. We can leave Chicago. Let's march here. 3575 versus 2787. We have the slight advantage here. Let's see how well we actually do have. Let's see. CS General Thomas Stonewall Jackson. Kill 'em all. That's the right way to say that one. I believe I've said that one wrong before. Made kind of a big deal out of it about myself and kind of beat myself up over saying a small quote wrong. But I pride myself on being correct. Okay. That actually is they are doing a really good job of just artillery emplacement at the start. I'm going to move them over just a little bit because I want these guys up on top of the hill. That's all. All 150. Put them over on this side. All of you. Alright, fast forward, let's go. Yeah, we've already taken out enough of the general's bodyguard there. Please get to position. We're going to hit these guys square in the side. A lot of fresh troops here, I just kind of realized. That may not be very good on our part. It's going to be good for right here, at least, where we can fire on these guys. That's not very great setup for us. Let's go try to save some of our men here. Boom, hitting them like in the rear so we destroy, we kill dozens. Best thing we can do is just bring them down to as close as, as little troops as possible. And not lose our men to like straight dying. Killed a general. These guys appear to be shattering off and running. I think that's all of them. Oh, there's a few out here. There they go running in the turn. Heroic victory. Nice little win right there. Way out here in Illinois on the border of Illinois and Missouri territories.
Yes.
Let's see, what are we talking about here? Blocking international intervention. The Confederacy's best hope is military intervention into the war by Britain and France against the Union. The Union under Lincoln and Secretary of State William H. Seward worked to block this and threaten war if any country officially recognizes the existence of the Confederate States of America. In 1861, Southerners voluntarily embargo cotton shipments, hoping to start an economic depression in Europe that will force Britain to enter the war in order to get cotton. Cotton diplomacy, however, proves a failure as Europe has surplus of cotton, while the 1860-62 crop failures in Europe make the North's grain exports of critical importance. It is said that King corn is more powerful than King cotton, as U.S. grain goes from a quarter of the British import trade to almost half. When Britain does face a cotton shortage, it is temporary, being replaced by increased cultivation in Egypt and India. Meanwhile, the war creates employment for arms makers, ironworkers, and British ships to transport weapons. Charles Francis Adams proves particularly adept as minister to Britain for the U.S., and Britain is reluctant to boldly challenge the blockade. The Confederacy purchased several warships from commercial shipbuilders in Britain, the most famous being the CSS Alabama, which did considerable damage and led to serious post-war disputes. However, public opinion against slavery creates a political liability for European politicians, especially in Britain, who had herself abolished slavery in her own colonies in 1834. Yep, this guy here is still looking at what he should do. We've locked him down to 4 units. That's crazy. That's crazy, y'all. We're still 4 turns away.
Yes,
or no, we're
humble servant.
2 turns away.
Yes, sir.
And then we shall march on Nebraska territory. So much going on. So much going on. Gotta keep our troops flowing. Ooh, and there's a battle to be had in front of us with what appears to be Spanish troops and like a mixture of colonial units as well. Looks like they were getting ready to march north, or they were looking for us. I'm not sure. Construction report. Church schools and chapter schools. Yeah, that place is fine. Let's go and touch our current ones. Get them up to College of Divinities. That one's already doing it. Newtown, Raleigh. Church schools are everything that we really want right now. That should lower the price to, as they switch over Catholicism, that should lower the cost of holding places and make people much more happier.
At the ready.
We'll get a little bit closer.
Ready and
Yeah, he can't quite get there, I don't think. And this guy holding here with the Washington group able to get to his aid if he needs it. Alright, I think we're good. End the turn. Come along. You boys can... You Union boys should go ahead and give up and give me what I want. Detroit, Ohio, Yankton, Nebraska, and Philadelphia. If not, I will knock you out myself. Clark's Mill. Having received news that Confederate troops are in the area, Union Captain Hiram E. Barstow encounters them at Clark's Mill, Veracruz, Missouri. A skirmish ensues, during which the Confederates are driven back, only to be replaced by a much larger Southern force, and both armies are soon engaged in a 5-hour-long firefight. Under flag of truce, the Confederates demand a surrender, which the Union force readily accepts, owing to their numerical inferiority. The Confederates immediately parole the Union troops and depart after first burning down the blockhouse at Clark's Mill. Wow. We're learning all kinds of things, right? We're learning all kinds of things about the war. Yeah, right now we're doing just fine, I think. Church schools in Oklahoma and let's see, Baton Rouge and Raleigh. We must turn these people Protestant and keep them happy. These actually are very happy. I really want the, what do you call them in the... Would love some, whatever you call those men, preachers. Those guys, I would really love some. Let's start moving our way down here to attack him. Hopefully we don't have to chase him all over Kingdom Come. We're going to hold this guy back and see what happens. If he comes down here, we'll move our guys around to meet him. Hopefully he'll come right through here. Could always send those guys there too. Anything else? I don't think so. Alright, well guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this one right here. I don't really, again, I don't know how I'm going to handle this group. I might just let them take something and then I'll swing another army or something like that down here and take it for me. Having 2 armies going side by side might be beneficial, but we'll find out. So, alright guys, appreciate y'all so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Maybe check out the link for Discord in the description below, and I will see you all next time.